Ryan here. Now I'm doing my first build along video. I'm not sure how this is gonna turn out, so I'll just keep filming and see where this goes. So the bodies you see here are from Bandito RC. You'll find him on Instagram and he has a website. And Bandito used to make scale bodies only for SCX24, and recently he scaled up his work for the 118 market. So what we have here, this one is his FJ75, I think, and this one is FJ55. Really nice details on these bodies. Nice print too. It's not gonna need a lot of prep work. He even has this step bar right here and these old school hooks on the bed. Very nice work. Came with this front grille assembly. The Toyota has been printed in white. Nice touch there. I think it's for the rear bumper. Has provisions for tow hooks. And of course, a snorkel. Very nice. And a roll bar. The bed. Looks nice. This is the FJ55 double cab. This one is a single piece, unlike this one. So this one, okay, doesn't have a bed liner, but it comes with a rear bumper, I guess, and the front grille. This one is all black, like the one for the FJ75. But this, man, look at that. For you basket boys out there. Look at the size of this thing. Anyway, so these bodies will be sitting on, okay, for this FJ75, I plan to use this monster. So it's not really a full build, but if I like it, maybe I'll make this separate build later on. But for now, I want to use this and probably make some adjustments, like I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep the shocks, maybe set them up with negative springs. I don't know, let's see. So in front, it's Bronco plus 3. I added some spacers. Bronco plus 3, but the upper links are high trail links. Cedar and Python Pro. And then probably new wheel set for this one. So we'll see. For this body, I'll set it up for this Gila Monster. Slightly different setup. Runs on Venom and Lizard Pro. And the gearing here is 33:1. And this one is 40:1. Bronco plus 2 in front, Bronco plus 2 at the back. Upper links are Bronco plus 4. If you're wondering why it's Bronco plus 4, it's to tuck the drive shaft in. So it kinda angles the rear axle upward. Same with this one. That's why I used high trail links for the rear uppers. So these bodies come with magnetic mounts, so I chose the one for Gila Monster. So I'm gonna change the side trays, swap them out with this one, do a nice paint job, probably design 3D bed racks for both, and then we'll see how it goes. Let me just transfer this one. All right. Whenever you're working with 3D printed parts, make sure to prime the holes first to avoid stripping your screws. It's a good thing that the Lizard Pro still fits in here. The receiver fits as well. This one's tight. There. Yep, I think this one needs a shorter wheelbase. I think it's gonna need a little adjustment too on the wheelbase. Just a minor adjustment. So I'm gonna focus initially on building this one and see if I have enough time to build both trucks at the same time. So I just finished designing a bed rack system for this one. So I'm gonna send both files to the printer now and wait for a few days, and they'll send me back the prints. When working on a 3D printed body, I usually fix the imperfections first before applying the primer. This one is pretty much a neat print, not a lot of imperfections, but you can see just minor ones. So I'm gonna try working on them now. There are still some rough parts, so I think I'm gonna use a high build primer for this one and then sand it again. So that came out nice. but you can see the imperfections better after the primer. So I'll do one round of wet sanding on this and then another layer of primer. So I have here 600 grit and 1000 grit sandpaper. I'll start with 600 and smoothen it off with 1000. So I just finished wrapping this up with sticker and plastic so I can paint the interior. That one went nicely. I think I'm okay with this. So I just finished masking the interior and now I'm gonna go paint this with dark brown. That's gonna be my base color. So before I put the second layer of dark brown paint, I added some salt on the areas where I wanna make some rusting or damage effect. So I'm just gonna wait for this to dry and then I'm gonna apply the second layer of the dark brown paint. So while waiting for the paint to dry, I'm gonna start working on the shocks. So I found this on my stash earlier. It's big bore 59mm shocks from HobbyPark, same as the ones installed here. So I'm gonna set this up with negative and positive springs. So I'm gonna replace these big springs with shorter and smaller external springs and then install an internal spring as the negative spring. So this is how it looks like after washing away the salt. You'll see that the surface now has some fine texture to it and not overdone. And this is exactly how I want it to be. I just want it weathered and damaged. So this is perfect. So the next step is to paint this with off-white. But before that, I applied another layer of water and salt, particularly on the parts where I'm gonna simulate the rusting effect. It's not as much as the one earlier, so this should help create another layer of texture and also reveal the dark brown paint under. I dried this overnight and removed the salt, so this is how it looks like right now. We have it exactly where we want it. We've created a nice base texture for our next paint layer. The dark parts are deep, and you'll see all those details at the surface. And this is why it's important to smoothen the body first so you can create a contrast between rough and smooth, because if everything's rough, then none of these details will pop out. I just finished masking this with tape and masking fluid. I used masking fluid instead of salt for this round because it's easier to control for detailing. I'm in the process of unmasking this now. I'm halfway done and I still have to do the top and the rear. But I just want to show you how it looks like after pulling out the masking fluid and the masking tape. All these white spots here will either be paint damage or rust, which I will finish with hand painting. Look at all those texture and details. I'm working on the shocks now, so this one is the same as this one. But after working on it, you'll see that 59 has shrunk to around 56 because I equipped it with a shorter spring and an internal negative spring. So I'm using a long external spring and a short negative spring. So this one is going at the back. The one in front is shorter. For this one, I'm using equal springs with equal length for both the positive and the negative. Front, rear. The 3D printed parts are here. So I have here, I designed a simple interior. And then the bed rack comes in 5 pieces. So let me show you. This one goes here. Then the bed cover. And this one. Then the roof rack. So I'm gonna paint this using the same process that I did to the body. Color matched it. I'm testing the rust effect on a small portion. So this is basically how it's gonna look like on some of the damaged parts. I've got a bunch of stuff going on around here. First, this windshield that I just finished weathering. So I sanded it at the back and then some paint in front. And front grille, just finished weathering it to match with the body. Now I've got to work on the headlights too before I put them in. And the signal lights, the turn lamps, I'll have to color with clear orange. And then the brake lights here, they'll have to be painted with clear red. I also made a simple interior. And then the snorkel, lightly weathered. I also have this action figure that I have to cut up for the interior. I just finished cutting the action figure, so I had to trim the side of the left arm, the back, and underneath the right arm for it to sit comfortably in here. I'm getting close to doing the final assembly. I think I have everything that I need. So I found this earlier. I think these are RC4WD tires. I used them before for my Mini Z. So I think I'm gonna use this for the FJ75. And I'm gonna pair those wheels with brand new Black Label tires. I've had this for about half a year now. These are 57s or 58s, I think. And then I'm gonna use sticky wheels inserts for this one. I'm going to be using 8 ribs in front and 10 ribs at the back. I ordered these black labels together with Flub RC slime balls for this specific tires. But in my experience using the 63 version of this tire plus the 63 version of these inserts, I think they're too soft and they don't really grip that nicely, especially for rock crawling. So my hope is that by using these sticky wheels inserts, which are a bit stiffer, and then maybe it'll do good for overlanding. And then I'm gonna use these shocks, if you can remember. So at the rear, I'll be using 10 ribs, longer shocks. In front, 8 ribs, shorter shocks, plus heavy brass in front. These are not your regular brass rings, these are thicker. These are from OGRC, I think. The reason I'm going to use this is because I have a lot of sprung weight. I have a bed rack, and I'm going to stuff the bed rack with some scale accessories, so I'll have a lot of top rear weight. So this system I'm using, wherein I'm using longer shocks at the rear, I've done this before. I use this setup also on my Defender and the XJ because they're both top rear heavy. So I'm replicating that approach on this one. I just finished removing 4 millimeters of spacers from the links, 2 in front and 2 at the rear. So this is now 4 millimeters shorter. Then for the rear upper links, I replaced the high trail uppers with Bronco +2 uppers to tuck the drive shaft. And I installed the shocks, the negative shocks that I prepared for this one, shorter in front. Now this is ready for the assembly. Anyway, that's it for this build along video. I hope I was able to share something useful or something interesting. Let me know if you want me to do more videos like this in the future. So in the next few days, I'll be trying to film the crawl video for this one, so stand by for that. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching and keep rocking.